bit. So I just keep that box open now so I know the video started, because OBS doesn't really tell me when it starts using a shortcut that I know of anyway. So I want to play with moving the mouse, just goof around for a minute because I was failing with that yesterday. I'm going to start up Sly. I think we can go full screen here. Even though I'm so used to working half screen, I might prefer it. Let's see. I don't know. And then I want to say QL quick load. GLFW. That box was popping up because I have Helm and Helm Company running. I usually have that stuff turned off during a video. One, because stuff popping around is kind of annoying, but also because I don't really know how to use it yet. And some things were bothering me. Maybe I'll go over that a little bit here. Because today I found out, because I turned it back on. Yesterday I was running with Helm, but not Helm Company. What do I need to do here? Is create a package, I guess, just to work with. Def package, OGL is what we used yesterday. So right here, I can't hit enter because it's going to choose no signal. So I hit control. Now I can probably use control J here, but that didn't auto indent. So control enter. Well, I have to make it pop up again. There we go. Control enter just gets rid of that. Then now I can hit enter and then indents, auto indents correctly, I guess. And then here we use CL. The other thing that I didn't like about this was like, oops. So the indention's not correct. Tab, like now it doesn't do it. It's trying to do the autocomplete stuff, I guess, rather than the auto indent, which I found out now I can hit Control I, and it does what Tab basically usually does, which I just found that out. So it's the only thing that makes this, I guess, bearable to be able to use. Maybe I'll show afterwards, because that's not what this is about. And then local nicknames. Local nicknames, GLFW, and then org. I don't know if it'll complete this or not. Kumo dot, is it frath dot GLFW? I believe I have typed that so many times I can remember it now. Okay, and now I have to do the GLFW inet. And I did all that, and I didn't quick load it, I guess. That's why it's giving me that error. Is that okay? Like I did my package. Does it know what all that stuff is? I don't know. I usually do this first. Quick load GLFW. I did that already, actually. Oh, in package. OGL. Because I loaded that inside. So right now I'm in, well, I don't have to undo that, I guess. Right here, I'm in CL user. And I loaded this up here. But the nickname is only inside this package right here, OGL. So right now, if I were to type out this name right here, and then I could probably use inet. But because I'm not in that package, I can't use a shortcut for it. So that's what happened there. So now I should be able to do this. There we go. And then here, I don't think I have to name this, because I'm just going to open up a window, because I'm going to use the with game loop to try to make the mouse work, or moving the mouse around, which I don't know why I'd ever do this, but whatever. I want to try it. So make instance, and then it's just GLFW. And normally you want to name these windows, but since I'm in Sly, I don't have to. There we go. Because I can always come back and Alt Enter on this. So if I just go up and hit Alt Enter, it returns this. And then to access that, the last thing that's output, I can just use the stars. So what I want to do now is just to be able to get my mouse cursor, let's say. So let's just say I want to get my mouse stuck in the middle right here. But that's not going to be the window that I'm using, so if the other window opens up somewhere else, then it might change out where it's being centered to. So here I'm going to say GLFW cursor location, there we go. And then this is why you should name that window, but since the star is the last thing, I can do this. And then now I'm going to say def parameter, and I'm just going to call this like, I'm going to call it mlock for mouse lock or clock for cursor. Mlock for mouse, I guess. Def parameter mlock, and I'm going to give it a star, which will make this, because it's the last thing that was output, it's going to be the value here. And so now if I say mlock, we have that value. See right there, I had to hit enter twice. I really don't like that either. For it to actually execute that, wonder how I make it. If there's a way, like if I'm right here, I hit Control Z. Nope. I'm right here and hit Control I. Nope. So how do I make it? Like, I don't want to hit enter twice there. I know it's not a big deal, but it's like one of the reasons I'll use a lot of those add-on stuff, I guess. Although I am using this because I messed up my normal tab completion, like my fuzzy completion that used to work, where I can go like this and see how it's picking stuff out here, where that won't work without this on now. I don't know what I'd set to mess that up. Anyway, so I have a location of where the mouse is. I called it mlock, which means I don't need this anymore. So what I'm going to do is come up here and hit Alt Enter, and then destroy this window. Destroy the asterisk. Just going to call it star. And then now with GLFW with game loop. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this DT thing, but let me just define that. DT0. I have no idea, but this seems to work. And then DT. And then here, I've got a mouse location. So I just want it to loop and try to set GLFW cursor location. It's just easier of the win right there, to type it this way sometimes, then tell it set after that to be mlock. And I think that should open up a window. I'll try to move this window over a little bit. But now, since I'm in this window, like, it's every time it runs through the game loop, it's moving the cursor back. So actually, if I tap the mouse just then, the mouse seems to be able to move real quick somewhere. But if I try to, like, move my mouse, it doesn't go as far. But if I just, knock my mouse around, it seems to be able to sneak past. But just trying to move my mouse on the mouse pad, it doesn't go as far. I guess if I jerk it around, but it just brings it back every time. Now I can't really get to close this window very easily. But if I Alt-Tab, it frees the mouse. And I think that's why before it wasn't working. It seems to be only doing this once I click in there. It automatically, Alt-Tab, I'll click right here. It just jumps it over there. So I'm not really sure how sometimes that would work for me. Like the first time I tried, I was able to move the mouse. And the next time I was trying to click, because the next time I clicked on that window, it started working, but it just gets locked in there. So there we go. And just so it is documented. And of course, with the game loop, I can use the X up here. So I'll say Control X F, and then I want to open up the .emacs.inet. And this little home folder thing works even on Windows. For this guy here, I'm going to go down to the, well, Helm's right there, really. So I'll Control L here. I use the packages, list packages thing to add this in. Then here's the tab, basically overriding tab to become this. And then here's where Control I just is the same thing here, which is kind of confusing. And then Control Z, where normally Control Z is going to minimize. So if I hit Control X, Control Z, see how it minimizes? That's what Control Z does even on Windows. Because on Linux it'll put it to sleep. Then you use like your background and foreground commands. But I have turned that off right here. So on this line, this turns off. Control Z no longer minimizes the window. And then these Control I, so this is loading Helm in right here. And then Control I and Control Z, like, will do something also whenever there's a menu listed, but I'm not familiar with that yet. Too much anyway. I think like this one kind of like inspects. I'll try it in a minute, I guess. And then here's the rest of it for Helm Company. So if I was to say Control X, Control F, and hit Tab here, so that changed now. Because yesterday with this other thing, I guess without this bottom one, Helm Company, this was the blue thing that was going on. So if I go back to a REPL, here we go. This one right here. So this is what like the Helm was doing, where this box is popping up rather than how it looked just a second ago. And it's kind of hard. This is the one that's highlighted, even though this is blue. That's just telling me the command. So I'm not used to that too much. And then here, when I start typing this in, this part's the Helm Company part, where like you can start hitting Control N and Control P, I guess, to grab these. But now that I'm here on this one, if I hit Control I, Control Z, nope. With game. Well, it was giving me information about that somehow. I guess down here it's saying there's no autodoc information for that. What if I just use loop? Loop. Do any of these have anything? I guess down here it is. Let me see if this is, nope. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh well. I'll have to learn that more, I guess, before I try to do stuff. Here's the one. So whatever reason this window came up now. When it's like this, if I hit Control I, now it does something. Like I said, just push buttons. And then if I get out of that, and then if Control Z does something, now Control Z is asking me, hit F1 to insert, find location. I guess if I hit F3, if it has that on here, it'll try to find the location of that maybe? I don't know. And then Control Z one more time. F2 show documentation, F1 insert. So if I hit F1, it inserts that. I don't know. Ribbit.